Thank you all for coming. You have some information there. Let me see if I can, sorry. I'm gonna grab me one of these. Liv, can I use yours, please? Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, I went to give some thanks out. Chris is doing, Rob's doing, he's bringing his awesome vibes, and he is a percussionist from Dead to Rights. So he's a local artist here, and if you guys ever get a chance to see him, they're really good. They're a Grateful Dead cover band. So he's a percussionist, so he knows his stuff. He will probably way out-gong me.
Oh, come on.
And he's got all kinds of cool toys. And his vibe is just amazing, so check that guy out. Chris is filming for us, as well as he has his art here. So again, if you want some prints, he'll be getting these on recording also. So let's see, the owner Clarence, I want to thank him because this is a really awesome space, you know, and it's working for me. Liv, thank you for coming and spreading the word. Guests, families, friends, thank you very much for showing up. Cymatics is like if you have a vibration plate and then you put sand on it and then you hook the vibration up to frequencies and you change it. The lower the frequency, it will be a geometric shape, but as the frequency goes up, it gets higher. Do you want to play around with it? I don't know if they're kind of ordered. That's a real high one, and then this is a lower one. So, I don't know, do you have a striker though? Oh, perfect! So a lower vibration is going to be the bigger, slower waves, and then the higher vibration is going to be, you know, shorter, very high waves. And so that's kind of with everything. And our voices are incredibly powerful because they are putting either our thoughts into a vibration. So our words are creation. And there's a really cool, if you can take a look at it, the cymatics is incredible because there's one in particular, and I'm not sure where it's at, but, excuse me, it's like this white liquid, and it might just be milk, you know, or something like that, but I want to say it's inside of a speaker, and they have it up to such a frequency that it is like it's animated. It's like it's turned into people, and it's like walking out of it. It's very, wow. It makes your mind do some interesting things because put into perspective, you know, and I don't know, they say, you know, the word is what started everything. So it's turned into people, and it's like walking out of it. It's very, wow. It makes your mind do some interesting things because put into perspective, you know, and I don't know, they say, you know, the word is what started everything. So it's literally the vibration we're putting out there. So I'm prone to melancholy, and I need to really work on myself. I need to sit in front of like 10 gongs and just beat the crap out of me. So one day, I have dreams. I need to go back to school for that.
The whole universe is vibrating.
Yeah. So, and the gong is really pretty cool because the gong will overlap. So if you want to do a couple of things, it will, no matter where you're striking it, and then the waves will overlap. You can hear the different sounds, but then eventually they all go into one because everything is fighting for that, and it will eventually go into just one vibration as it goes out. So when the gongster was teaching us how to play the gong, she was saying that, again, with the vibrations, that if you vibe high enough, sickness can't hold on. So it essentially vibrates too high for it to hang on. And the way that I think about it is like, if a bug is on your windshield and you're driving around town, it's going to stay there and it's going to crawl around. But when you start getting onto the expressway and you start going really fast, it's like, ah, and then it just shakes off. It can't stay. So we want to keep keep our minds and our bodies in a high vibration, and thoughts are incredibly important. So it's good to surround yourself with all kinds of different good things, good thoughts, good food, good people, and your life will change. First, we're going to do evolution. And this is just a process to help you move things that you're ready to let go of out of your body. And it's called evolution because it's going from, let's just say, the root, or physically here, what we can either, if it's a pain, it's physical or emotional. Everybody has these things, and there's, you know, it's like with my work, I say we don't have to get into the details because everybody has a thing. And my work is based on what is the current relationship to that thing, that pain, and how can we have a better relationship with it. So the first time you may go through this process, and I say a lot of times to get through it, fake it till you make it. You know, when you have to find the lesson in the thing, just fake it till you make it. Because the next time you go through this and you think about it, you'll be like, okay, well, what did I really get out of this? You know, like this thing that sucked, it happened, but what made me change? What changed about me? Because the biggest things that you go through, the biggest and hardest challenges, the biggest hurts come with the biggest growth, unfortunately, and it changes us forever. So to have a different relationship with that pain, we want to think about all the different ways that it impacts us as people in our physical and emotional bodies. So we start from the ground, the heaviest of things. It's here in our physical world. We can feel it, touch it, taste it. We know it's here. If it's something that we're getting ready to let go of, it doesn't always have to be bad. It can be, we've done a really good job at work and we're ready for another adventure. Or we are getting a new opportunity in another state. So it doesn't always have to be bad, but most likely it is. And everybody has these pains, they're just different for everybody. So it's the same process no matter what is going on. And this may take a few times, you know, it's not instant, but it's definitely a good help. And the gong at the end will vibrate those things out of you. So my work is I physically put my hands on people after we do a little talking about what the thing is, and we usually don't get into the thing, but we kick up emotions when we're talking. We're just getting to know each other, but we're kicking those things up. You know, it may be a story about when you were a kid and like how your relationship is with your mom, or, you know, just different things. And then those things kind of move through the body. So it's the same thing with a gong. You can get to everybody at the same time. So after we identify or we think about what the heavy thing is, identifying the pain, then we say, how do we relate to it? And we're trying to get where the vibrations get higher and higher and higher until we can finally, they're just ethereal, and it's very high, and it's just thoughts or things that just cross your mind. So when we go up, then it's more of a water element, and it's how do we relate to one another. So a lot of times with any kind of emotional pain, there will be either you alone know about this, or it's something that many people will know about. You know, sometimes we deal with things very, very solo, and then sometimes, you know, it's like we can't even keep it from everybody. Everybody knows our business, or it's, you know, everybody knows we're moving, or you know, stuff like that. So then we bring it up, and the next element is fire, and this is generally right here, and it's our sense of self. And so this is like if somebody says something bad about you, this is where the anger comes from. And it's like you got kicked in the gut, you know, like when someone is putting down your character or whatever, saying untruths or just hurting your feelings, being mean to one another, we usually get sick to the stomach, or, you know, it's something physical in our midsection. But this is also where the fire comes from in our anger, and just putting it out there, it correlates to our middle finger. So sometimes it's just like it's coming out. I think it's very appropriate. So then we move up a little bit, and this is where the air is. It's air elements. It's a little light and fluffy. When it's coming in and we like something, it's like, ooh, those nice thoughts. But if we're bringing it in and it's a negative thought of like dread, we don't want to be doing that. We don't want to worry unnecessary worries, because we're creating anxiety and pain where we don't even know what the heck the story is. So on the way out, if you think of fire plus air, it's a freaking storm. So when you have your emotions tied to anger, it's really hard to let go of, and that's why we kind of stop here. And I have my own hypothesis actually about it going up here. So this is physically a bottleneck, and a lot of times we'll get tightness right here, like we can't speak our truth. We get choked up when we're emotional. We don't stand up for ourselves. And in my case, sometimes I just let it fly and I hurt people. And so my hypothesis is that it doesn't always come out when it's totally gone, right? So what happens next is it goes to our third eye, and we have to see the lesson in whatever this bad thing is. So this is our vessel, and we're processing everything at all times. We're processing it through our vessel, and we put our energy on it. So if there's still something wiggling around in there, even though you may have not dealt with it great so far, if it's still wiggling around in there, you still have the opportunity to let go of it, transmuted in your own energy, and making the most out of it. So again, to the lesson is seeing how this bad thing changed you. And so I have a story about a phone. I had it 2 days after I had just gotten a new phone from having it annihilated before. And I was helping this guy in the grocery store, and this old guy, really old, and he was in his little vroom vroom cart, and he could barely walk, could barely talk, but I didn't know that at the time. And so he's out. I had seen him in the store, and then he's out of his thing, and I was like, oh, I'll go take that back in for you. Wait just a second. Well, he didn't want to wait because he didn't want to put me out. I didn't know this, but he started taking that thing back in the store, and I took 2 steps running, and it plopped out, and I was mad. I was so furious. And I saw him ream going into that store, and I was so mad. And I like to strangle this old man. So I was like, I told you I'd come back. I didn't tell him I broke my phone, because when he said, I'm sorry, he whispered it to me, and I almost choked on my own tears right then and there, because this man had been so alone for so long that he didn't even have the strength to talk. And I kept that phone just like it was for like 6 months, because I wanted that reminder of that's the lesson. Okay, I was over it right then, and I happily kept that phone as a reminder. And it's like 7 years later, and I tell the story when I'm in here, when I'm doing this. So it was the lesson, and the lesson is usually the only thing that will heal that heart. So it takes a few times. And I say fake it till you make it, because the next time you go through, you're maybe not ready yet, and it's maybe like, I'm a better person, But then you think about it, and like, maybe, I learned that I'm stronger than I thought, and it sucks, but I know what I'm made of. And so only then can you let things go with love, after you have healed and are okay with it, and you've transmuted it in your own energy, and only your twist can do. That's when you can let go. And that holds so much weight. When people get off my table, they're like, I feel lighter. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mom's had some pretty incredible experiences. Both of us. It's a shared thing. When I put my hands on people, it is always a mirror. So no matter who comes in and who's on my table when we're talking, there's always something between us that is common. So being the practitioner in that way, it was pretty difficult for a long time, because all I was seeing were not necessarily the good reflections. It was all of the things that I saw in myself that were, part of these people that I was working with. And so working through that has, now I can finally see and appreciate really good sides of people, and oh yeah, we can relate there, and I can take this lesson. You don't have to learn it, 10 on the Richter scale. You can hear someone else's story, and you can take it at a 3, and like, wow, that gave me a lot of insight. So it doesn't have to be so much. So after you clean yourself out, you want to clean out first, and then you want to invite in. And how you invite in is this stuff has space, and you want to invite it in because you don't want the same bad things creeping back in. So you want to, and we've had dreams that are long gone, I wanted to do some art, or I wanted to start sewing, or I wanted to start a business and entrepreneurship and all these different things, but they get stuck by life. So, not only are we processing certain things to here and we get stuck, because we're in pain, but we're also getting stuck on the way in, and we want to wiggle that stuff around and say, oh yeah, maybe I'll refresh that dream or that goal that I was trying to do. So the process is typically, if it's not already in there somewhere, is inception. Your connection to source. I have amazing shower experiences. That sounds weird, but it's like, I even started turning the lights off because I have this one stupid light that's like barely lit in my shower, so it's enough, I'm not gonna fall. But it's so relaxing. And I listen to music in there and it's like my time. And so I'll get tons of divine inspiration from being in there, and I'll think about things. Things will start to form a picture, and that's where the visuals come in, and oh, maybe it looks like that, and maybe that's what I want it to, the paint color and the space, for instance. And then you speak about it. So you don't have to speak about it to anybody else, but putting weight to it, it starts those vibrations. So your voice is the creative force behind that. So as soon as I think of something I want, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I want it, and then I've only got, a little bit ways to go. So then you start all those feelings. Again, if it's dreadful, you don't want to have all that dread in your chest. You don't want that. You want to think nice, spritey feelings. And that's where, like when you're falling in love or when you're dreaming big, all those feelings, it adds weight, it gets heavier. And then the fire is that passion, it's that drive and that action of what you have to do. It's physically painting the walls, it's the work. It's the work. So whatever that is, again, getting a building, making phone calls, painting walls. And then after that, it's more relating. So it might just be a dream that is your own dream. This is also where sex and sensuality comes from. Are we able to accept the desires that we want in life? Are we going to accept them? A lot of women have problems accepting help, accepting good things, accepting your sex and sensuality in general. And so, but this is where the water comes in, and it's that it's sharing, it's getting close to friends, it's the relating part. And then just like birthing a baby, or you guys coming in here tonight, you're physically in this space. It was a thought in my mind that physically transformed into many people coming. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. I think that might be it. Yeah, the gong's gonna put you in process.
Well, I was looking at that you were looking this way, and I looked when you were looking.
I love you guys. If you are in a zone where you don't feel like talking to anybody, you are more than welcome to just walk on out and keep your silence, because a lot of times that's how I feel like leaving a gong bath is like, wow, I'm in the zone, I don't want to break that. So sometimes we'll have a little talk and discussion afterwards if anybody wants to, but we will invite anybody that wants to leave and keep that vibration going to go ahead and go. All right, thank you all for coming. I'll start and just come on and enjoy. No.